Welcome, everyone, to season 6 of The Sharing Show. So, season 6, episode 1, we have a lot to cover. For those who don't know me, David from California, we started the sharing events almost 8 years ago. And I've been doing Workday for 17 years. I did write Workday training in quotes back when I thought training was a way in which people would really learn calc fields, for example. It turns out we do lots of calc field reporting integrations, boomerangs, extend, and several topics here in sharing events for 7 years. So I'm focused really on the sharing. I did have a quest to hit 1,000. I still have it. Help 1,000 people with calc fields, and in chess tournaments, completely separate topic. I'm at 946 chess moves. I was in a tournament, but then I got COVID, so I'm not at 1,000 yet. Got to wait for the next chess tournament. Something else that's fun. That's a picture of a puzzle. This is without, you can't see the puzzle pieces, but these are Sharing Movement members from 2023. We have some extras of these puzzles that we ordered for Rising in San Francisco. Now, this is over 40 people. So the real question is, would you like to be a host of Share Dates and be on this puzzle for 2024? Reach out to Christy, myself, several others. More fun things. Make sure you're on LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, you'll miss out. I'm just laughing at Billy Idol. Anyway, we had a poll on LinkedIn. What kind of Super Bowl commercial was Workday going to have? Turns out Workday did not have a Super Bowl commercial this year, but they're still sponsoring Billy Idol videos. So that's just one of the fun things. Final fun thing for me, Workday hit over 300. This is today's news, maybe an hour ago. Broke down below 300. If you could see the line, let me see if I can move my mouse here. This is the line at 200, and we were giving people swag and gifts whenever Workday crossed over 200. The problem is back here, it doesn't quite show it, but it went below 200 and then back above 200. If your birthday happens to be on the day that it hit over 200, we sent you something. This one actually hit 200 exactly. It has to hit 200 and a penny. So this was 300, years ago, and recently back over 300. How about 400? There'll be a place on the customer share movement where you can enter your birthday. We don't need to know the year. And that way you'll get swag when Workday hits 400. Feel free to put in the chat if you have a guess as to whether or not Workday would hit 400 in this calendar year and what month it would be. We do keep track of the chat. So if you guess it right and Workday hits 400 this year, something's coming your way. We're not sure yet. All right, Teresa from California. Who do we have next?
Next, we have Brittany with UBSG Security,
All right,
User-Based Security
UBSG.
Group.
Yeah, you got it. All right, Brittany, you're on.
Hi, this is Brittany from Colorado. Thank you very much for having me. I have been with Workday for 5 years, or 5 years experience with Workday, focusing on HCM, benefits, absence, performance, and security. And I personally love Workday's versatility. And my fun fact, I'm in the process of learning German, something to tickle my brain outside of work. So what we're talking about today is our user-based security group framework. This is new with this release. We'll talk about what's going on, some considerations when setting it up, and some configuration steps. So with this release, Workday has created a business process definition that will allow unconstrained security groups to add or remove user-based security groups, so UBSGs. If you don't take action, if you do nothing, the non-workflow enabled tasks will still work. And we're excited on our side about this because it allows for better security tracking and team accountability, especially for us who are public. We have SOCs, we need to keep track of these things. And so this is a huge step forward for us. So as mentioned, here's some considerations. Only unconstrained security groups can initiate the business process, and custom notifications can only route to those unconstrained security groups. Business process steps can only route to user-based security groups. And all granted and revoked user-based security groups, UBSGs, are effective upon completion of the business process. So for configuration, your first step, you're going to want to enable and configure the process user-based security group event domain security policy. It is in the subdomain of the security administration domain, so if you have trouble finding it, you can look for it there. Your next step is going to be to configure the user-based security group event business process and security policy associated there. That's what this will look like. And for those of us who delve deep into security, and when you're setting this up, this is where you're going to note who can start the business process, update it, correct it, deny it, and so forth. Next, you're going to want to create the user-based security group event business process default definition. So that's what this will look like. And after you click OK, you're going to have your blank business process default definition. And that little box with the plus sign, that is where you're going to add your business process steps, any approvals, review, and where you're going to want to add your condition rules. So next is when you're going to want to configure those condition rules and then further advanced routing. So on here, our company wants to not have this business process trigger when the security group affected is the interim GM security group. So I've created a condition rule to exclude that. And that's what this one looks like. And next, I wanted to maintain our advanced routing. So for us, we only want our security administrators to be able to initiate this business process, but we don't want it to autocomplete, and we want someone else in the security administration group to approve and review these. So we had to set up some advanced routing to exclude the initiator, prior approvers, and the event subject. And so our final BP that we're looking at on our side looks like this. So we have the action for the security administrator who didn't initiate the process to review, and then have it approve at that point. So very simple and straightforward on that one. And then our last step here is to use the disable user-based security group tasks feature opt-in. So a little bit of a double negative, you're going to opt in to disable the existing tasks. If you do not do this step, there might be confusion and conflicting assignments, as the other option won't trigger to go through the new business process. So make sure you opt in, and before you opt in, this is what this would look like. So you would see both of those tasks. The one in red is the old task, and the one in green is the new business process. So after opting in, this is all you would see, which will, like I mentioned, alleviate a lot of confusion and have everything go through this business process. And if
Brittany, yeah, this is the confusion you're talking about, the red part, right?
That's correct. So without opting in to disable that feature, both of those tasks will still appear in the under actions and security. So your user, your security administrator who is initiating the task might not know which to click. And if they click the one in red that was in process previous, in the steps previously, it won't go through the new business process.
All right, here we go. Teresa, who do we have next?
Next, we have Eric with features for 2024 R1.
Hello, everyone. My name is Eric from Missouri. I've been doing a lot of Workday for the last few years. As you can see, my track record, I've been doing it for about 8+ years here. One of the things that we've been talking about a lot in our sharing cafe is on a weekly basis. We've been doing it every Wednesday. And we've been talking about the 24R1 items. Like the last 2 weeks, we've definitely had some items that have been aha moments that we've had, such as the announcements moving on the homepage. And lately today was some time absence calendar on the mobile, the benefits worklet, the career worklet. Those have definitely been different items that, these are changing, these are being depreciated, retired out. So those are some things that we've been talking about. These are a few other ones that we have right now that we've been talking about in our sharing cafe. We're going to be going later on after the show here, having a breakout session on a few other ones. So we can come join the breakout and we can definitely talk some more about the 24R1 items.
Okay, thank you, Eric from Missouri. If people look on the agenda on the very bottom, they see breakouts. We have several more guests to go. So, and then, Jen, who's up next, also has a breakout. So there'll be two choices, the 2024 R1 and the auditing configuration changes. So Jen from Idaho, welcome.
Hello, thank you, everyone. I am Jen from Idaho. I started Workday working with Workday in 2016, so it's been just about 8 years. My focus has been really cross-platform because I've worked on audit-related functionality, which is really everywhere. So those of you who are just on the HCM side, this is still important for your area. So please listen to this section as well. I'm doing this because I love the Workday ecosystem, Workday, their customers, partners, etc. And a fun fact is I am a CPA who adopts and trains wild Mustangs. So some of the things that we will look at now and then in the breakout session is the importance of auditing Workday config changes, and then some of the challenges with the different audit trails, the ones that you should look at, and the ones that some of the problems with some of the other audit trails that you should really be aware of. Again, very applicable to those of you who are even just using HCM. And we'll look at some of the right reports as well that you should use. So here we have why audit configuration changes. Well, when configuration changes in your tenant, when configurations change in your tenant rather, that exposes you to risk. Sometimes some of those changes might be inappropriate. Maybe some are fraudulent, or maybe just an honest mistake. So it's very important that you keep on top of what those config changes are. Earlier, we just saw a creation of a business process around user-based security groups. Well, what if that is configured incorrectly? What if it's configured correctly and then later configured further so that it's fraudulent, for example? So it's very important to keep on top of these sorts of changes, and not only to have preventive changes like BPs created appropriately, but also detective changes. And that really is where the Workday audit trails come into play. All right, so some of the things to note are the differences between objects and instances. A lot of people use the word objects. Actually, when you're auditing things in Workday, you're not auditing the object, you're auditing the instance. For example, your higher default definition, or in the case just a few moments ago, we saw the user-based security group BP. That's an instance. The object is the workflow or business process definition workflow. Other instances, examples would be custom reports or such as income statements and balance sheets. All right, so what are the audit trails really showing? Well, they're showing changes to attributes and relationships. So for example, you might have a BP such as a higher event default definition there on the left-hand side, and that might have a step, let's call it step F, that has a condition rule. Well, there's a relationship between the BP or the higher event BP, if you will, and step F. That's a relationship. There's also a relationship between step F and condition rule. That's another relationship. And so as condition rules are added or removed, or steps are added or removed, those are changes in relationships that will show up in your audit trail. But additionally, the attributes can be changed sometimes. So for example, on a condition rule, you might be able to change the name of the condition rule or change the name of a calc field. Those are attribute changes, and those show up as well in your audit trails. And so here's just a quick look at the different audit trails that we will mainly cover. There's audit trails that are off of the related action. Those are the three little dots as you hover over an instance, and you can right click and go right to the audit trail there. I will warn you, and this is where you really need to pay attention to this section. There are issues with that audit trail. And I shouldn't say issues, it's not a Workday issue, but it's an issue more of customers erroneously assuming that that shows you all changes related to the instance. It does not. That is designed to only show you changes immediately related to only that. So in the previous example, if a step were added or removed, you would see that on the BP, but you wouldn't see the condition rule change or anything beneath it. So super important. We're also going to talk about the UTO report. I coined this at Rising as the UTO because it's the user or task or object audit trail. So UTO for short. And then we'll also talk about a custom report off of a data source named process transactions for range system account, task, and business object. And then we'll also look at the audit trail report. And this is a very powerful report that looks at nested changes for you that the first audit trail just will not, or none of the other audit trails will show you. Yeah, so some of the perceived challenges with the audit trails is there's too much data and a lot of noise. And so Workday audit trails, because they're always on and they track everything, yes, there is a lot of data there. However, some of the workarounds for that is if you perform a risk assessment to just focus on the things that are important, you can parse down what you're looking for, and we'll talk about that as well. And additionally, that second item there in the upper right-hand box talks about the new ATR report, or that stands for Audit Trail Report. That's actually what it's named in Workday. And that allows you to tag the instances that are important to you and only look for changes to those instances. Very powerful tool, and we'll cover that. And the next perceived challenge there is unsure how changes are related. Again, the audit trail helps with that as well. Very, very powerful feature. It will show you nested changes. So in the first example, if a condition rule is changed, added or removed, or let's say on a step that belongs to a business process, if you've tagged that business process and run your audit trail for it, for that tag, that will show up. Also, there are technical terms on the audit trail. It's difficult to get away from this because let's face it, audit trails are technical, especially in an object-oriented system. When you have changes to relationships, those are very technical. And so Workday does provide a cheat sheet to help folks understand what some of these technical terms are.
All right, Jen. So, this is just a teaser. So I know you have lots of examples. Some are like problems, and then some are solutions. So these PowerPoints and more material from Jen on auditing, all this is becoming more and more available. Okay, so okay, I'm going to skip over these, Jen, right? These are things you do, these steps in your breakout.
Yes.
And then you're right, this one too. But this, I know you have this as in your future blogs. So if you go to the blog page on Customer Sharing Movement, we only recently added this, by the way. If you haven't been to Customer Sharing Movement in a while, go to the blog page. Jen from Idaho, thank you for adding this blog. And on the bottom, I know you say this is the first of a sequence of blogs. Okay, Jen, we're getting close to the breakouts. Next up, we have Meredith with your fun fact about your favorite benefits worklet. But first off, yeah, Meredith, I know you're one of our hosts of ShareDate.
Yes, I've been doing it since almost the beginning. But I've been in Workday since like 2016. I've been doing share dates for a while, specialize in benefits. I'm now taking over security and reporting, so I'm doing all sorts of different things all over the place.
Yeah, teaser. What are we looking at here?
So this is the fun benefits worklet being decommissioned in this next release that I was not ready for. I did not have the benefits and pay hub enabled. So when I saw this on some of the things, and I didn't really see it everywhere, it seems like it didn't get the bold flashing lights that I thought it needed. And so I posted on our Slack on the benefits channel asking about it. And I got a couple of replies, but then I realized, this is a release issue. I bet more eyes are going to be on that this month. And so I posted on the Workday Releases channel and got a bunch of replies, including a really helpful link from Deanna from Wyoming. And I clicked on that, and it's basically, yes, they are decommissioning the benefits worklet. If you don't have the benefits and pay hub turned on, then you'll be in trouble because there won't be anywhere for employees to go for self-service for benefits. And so we have been scrambling, trying to get all of that set up, the benefits and pay hub set up for the release.
All right. Now, Meredith, I know you're going to be in the breakout, the 2024 R1, but let's have people take to the chat. If you've got any questions, benefits related, go ahead and go to the chat now. Gives Meredith kind of a heads up. Maybe you're hearing about this for the first time. So we're going to move forward here. Here we go.
Okay, thanks. Joel from Arkansas, Workday Journey. Again, in 2019, we began our implementation here at our company. We went live in June of 2021 with most of the HCM suite minus recruiting. And I am focused now on integrations and extend. Still very new to that, but very interested in it. Love the Workday community, love how helpful most people are, willing to share information, and most people here have a very positive attitude. Some fun facts about me real quick. 2 Manchester Terriers, Mia and Luna. Love them dearly. Fell in love with this breed several years ago. And the next one is Mardi Gras. I was able to ride in the parade last year and collect Disney pins. So that's a Mardi Gras collection of my Disney pins. Meredith will appreciate
Okay.
that.
That's you on the right. That's you on the
That
right.
is,
Then you're on the left.
yeah.
Then you're on the right.
Yeah, I'm on the right in the first picture, left in the third picture. Yeah. So anyway, next. So what I want to talk to you a little bit about today is the global address lookup and validation. I talked about this a few weeks ago in one of our cafes. And so this original brainstorm has been out since 2013. It's been back and forth. So I just put a few pieces of information that I found from that. It looks like back in fall, it looks like US was slated for 2024 R2. Then just a few days ago, the product manager came out and said that we've now targeted it for 24 R2. But then if you go to the What's New report, I see it. So not sure if we're talking about the same thing, but I think we are. So maybe someone could help clarify that. I put a link there to the Workday admin guide for how to get this set up. You must subscribe to the innovation services. And if you aren't familiar with that, I put a link to the innovation services there. So you activate this, you have to, make sure you go to this innovation services and data selection opt-in. Then the next screen will show you what you will do on that screen. You'll need to go in and check that global address, and then you'll need to check that global address lookup using third-party services. This will call out to Google. There really wasn't anything on this next screen, but it needed to be there. So I hit next here, came up with the summary. And then this is what it will look like. You'll see that has turned to yes and the user. That says Logan McNeil because I'm in my dev tenant with my Workday Extend. So because I don't have authority in our Sandbox preview. And then the next part about this is you need to do the maintain localization settings. So we want to tell the system where we want to do this, this validation. So we check contact information and then we hit OK, and then it'll ask us in which countries here. Yeah. Maintain localization settings. So here on that global address lookup using third party, you'll click on that search and you'll go find United States or any other countries you want to enable this for and make that checkbox on active. Once that's done, there you go, United States. There are some countries where this is prohibited. They don't allow Google, and Workday is compliant with that. I saw that out in the What's New report as well. It's very few countries. Okay, next. Here I got our team to set this up in the Sandbox preview tenant for me. And then because when I got this set up in our dev tenant, it would not work. It would show like it was going to work, but when I went to actually type in an address, it wouldn't pull back anything. So this is what, your normal change contact information looks like. We click on the pencil to update. All right, you're going to get that new search address box down there in the red. You'll see that powered by Google, and you'll see that use of address lookup. If you click that, it'll give you just some legalese or additional information. And you'll see that when I start typing in 2800 in that middle screen, it brings out a list like most consumer grade applications do. Go Workday. So search address will then populate. And then once you have selected one, it will fill out the rest of the address pieces, bring it in the county. Good for them. All right. That's
Joel,
it. Then it should flow from there.
Is this something you've been waiting for
You
for
think?
years?
Yeah. It was a sticking point during our Workday sales process because we were stepping back. We'd had that on the mainframe for many years. Thank you.
Next, Animesh. Animesh, are you still with us?
Yes, David, I am.
All right. Okay. Give us an idea here. Why are you a host of Share Dates?
Right. So, hi guys. Animesh from India. I've been in Workday ecosystem for about 10 years now. I worked on a lot of areas. It worked on the functional side, like recruitment, learning, talent performance, working on a lot of integrations, Workday Extend. I'm a host and presenter in Sherathon. Hosted a lot of sessions on Ops, security. Those are few of my favorite topics. An active contributor on Workday community as well.
I think you've done many sessions on BERT and Ox and security, several other topics. But what is your greatest achievement in Animesh?
Right. So, other than Workday, one of my greatest achievements till date is to ride my motorbike on the world's highest motorable road, which is Khadungla in Ladakh, which is approximately 18,000 feet from sea level.
18,000 feet. All right. It's a little bit hard to breathe up there, I assume.
It does. It does.
Okay. You're not talking to us from that spot right now.
No, you don't get network at that spot.
All right, Animesh, thank you. We look forward to people signing up to be guests with you and other hosts. Speaking of which,
So,
right.
hi, I'm Heather. I've been working, it seems like 2016 is the year because we started like late 2015, early 2016 with our implementation of Workday as well. In higher education, I've worked with benefits configuration, currently work with absence, security, EIBs, business processes. And then I'm really very cross-functional. So I'm doing some work in payroll, some work in reporting. And then I just like to go out and research new things and just see how they work and what sticks, and I'll bring it up and be like, hey, is this something we want to use? So, and then my fun fact is related to my emoji. You see me with a pair of roller skates on. I love roller skating. When I was 6 years old, I got my first pair, went out for like over 6 hours. I wouldn't come in. My mom said I wouldn't even stop for a snack.
Okay, out in front of your house was the street level, I assume, or did you already know how to stop? And you were going up and down hills your first day. I'm
Yeah, I don't
curious.
remember, honestly.
Okay. I thought, I mean, the picture and the story is great. Thank you, Heather from Pennsylvania. All right, Christy, I think I need to stop sharing for this next step, but I'm not sure. How do we set up, how do people get into the 2 breakouts?
They're ready to go. All I need to do is open them. So we'll have 2 breakout sessions. Eric will be leading one on 2024 R1 features, and Jen from Idaho will be leading one on auditing. So I have opened them, and you're free to go where you are. And I will stay here in the main Zoom if anybody has any questions or would like to switch.